Welcome back on Good Morning Artesia. As we roll on through this Thursday, we've got some great guests lined up for you today. But right now, we are going to talk about the Eddy County CASA program, CASA here in Artesia. And joining us, we have Cindy Panzer. Good morning, Cindy.
Good morning.
And Terri Menefee. Good morning, Terri.
Good morning.
Glad you guys could come in today and talk about CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates. I actually know what CASA stands for.
Good job.
I don't know anything else, but...
But that took a while for me to get down. Because I kept wanting to put children in there.
It doesn't roll off your tongue.
That's right. So, and it's a program that's been in place for quite a while, but Terri, I don't know if you want to kind of explain a little bit about what the program does do.
Okay. Well, the program, I think it was a year ago, changed their motto a little bit, and I really like it because it's change a child's story. And that's what advocates can do. And we're always looking for advocates. But what a court-appointed special advocate does is once a child is in the state system, been taken away for one reason or another, then they're assigned a CASA. And what the advocate does is not only gets to know the child, but anybody involved in that child's life, whether if it's a teacher, a grandparent, just someone that knows the child. And they become a voice for that child in the court system. And the judge really listens to the advocate on the opinion of the advocate on what should happen, what needs to happen in that child's life. But that advocate is assigned to that child, and we really like for them to be able to be with that child for years to come, as long as they're in the system. And we've talked to several advocates that years after they're either placed back in their home or in a new home, that they stay in touch with that child. So it's a very special bond between advocates and the children.
And they're not lawyers. They're not legal representatives for the children. They're advocating for the children.
Exactly. In fact, that's a great question. Someone asked how CASA volunteers different from attorneys. The CASA volunteer does not provide legal representative in the courtroom, which is a direct role of the attorney. The CASA volunteer does provide virtual background information that assists the attorney in presenting the cases. So that's the difference.
Mm-hmm. And so you don't have to be a lawyer to be a child advocate in this program.
You just have to love children.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So that's pretty cool. Cindy, how did you get involved with the CASA program? You were saying this is kind of a new adventure for you.
Yes. Many years ago, Sue Kaiser, who doesn't live in Artesia anymore, asked me to become an advocate. And I wasn't sure that I could do that emotionally because it seems to take a lot of heart to be not. I shouldn't say it takes a lot of heart. Of course it does, but I'm kind of a weenie at the heart thing sometimes. And then later, and so I passed. And then later, Terri asked me either to be an advocate when I retired or to come along on the board. And I thought, now I could be on the board. I can fundraise and I can get things done.
Right.
I can do mechanical things. Yes. But I'm one of those easy crier people that cry at a good steak, and so I thought this I could do. This I could help. And my job in the administration office of the schools, I think also helped.
You probably had a lot of crying students appear.
No, teachers, no, I'm kidding.
I totally understand that. So, well, I'm glad you're part of the program. I'm sure the other board members are glad that you're there too.
Yes.
I know that CASA has an office here in Artesia, but Terri, you were telling me that, or maybe it was you, Cindy, that said that not a lot of people knew that or know that CASA actually has an office in Artesia.
And it's actually downtown, and that's we are excited about that. And since we're downtown, we used to be in the old health building, and it was really hard to find. But now that we're downtown, we've been able to include ourselves in the trick or treat on Main Street and some of those downtown activities, the art walk, and so it's fun. But yeah, a lot of people have no idea that we have an office downtown.
It's just to the west of the tire store.
Exactly.
Kind of behind the tire store, isn't it?
Right.
But it faces Main Street.
Right.
And before you get to the insurance office and
I've heard
Mr. Nix's building.
all kinds of things being in there. Photography business, I heard at one time. I remember it being like a tile.
The Ornellis's had it as a tile store. Yes.
Yeah.
And so it has nice tile.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. We could use some of that over here. So, well, Cindy, you mentioned fundraising. I'm sure that's a part of the program because what are some of the things that funds are needed for with the CASA program?
Well, we always need supplies for the advocates to have the just the mailings, the paper. We do a lot of special things for the kids. We at Christmas we get them gifts. At Easter, baskets.
We were fortunate that we've had some local banks step up and help us with our Christmas programs and our Christmas gifts, and that always makes it fun for the employees at the bank, and we really appreciate that. Along with everybody else, COVID has really dampened our fundraiser, and but a lot of our money is used for training of these advocates. We want to give them the best training there is so they know what to do in certain situations. One thing that I look as good that came out of COVID is they have been able to do their training now online, where they used to have to give up a Saturday to go sit in an office. And so now it's a lot easier to be trained as an advocate because you can do it online or and therefore at your convenience. While we're on that subject, we were talking about retirement, and we do have a lot of retired people as advocates, but not all of them. A lot of them work full-time, and they still manage to fit in being an advocate. We've had people here in Artesia that were advocates for decades. So I don't want people sitting out there think, oh, that's something I can do in retirement, because it's something they can do right now. We're always looking for men. We seem to have a shortage of men, and that men are important in children's lives, and a lot of these children don't have a man in their lives, and so.
It's more. What age group are the children that are generally in the program?
Anything under 18.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have a lot of babies, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
One thing that I heard, and I think Cindy and I have talked about it, that during COVID, there was a time where they talked about the child abuse numbers being down. That wasn't the case. It was because those children weren't at daycare or weren't at public schools to have people spotting the problems of child abuse and child neglect, and so they weren't reporting of. But unfortunately, there were a lot of, and there are children home in very unsafe environments.
Mm-hmm. So as an advocate, do you get, I know you're trying to figure out what the child's situation is so that you can report that back to the court, but does that have the potential for that volunteer maybe having to go into the family home or be confronted with some of these situations? How is that, how does an advocate gather the information that they need to know for the court situation?
The CASA volunteers' ultimate goal is to make decisions to move the child out of a temporary placement into a foster care, and that's already been done by the officials.
Gets there.
Okay.
So they just they're not put in an unsafe environment, but a lot of especially during COVID, a lot of the things were taken care of on phone calls or Zoom, but we do make sure that the advocates are safe.
Okay, so the court's already placed the child
exactly
in a temporary situation, and the advocate at that point then starts working with the child to
In fact, while we're on that, we have had calls that are reporting child abuse, like my grandchild is not in a safe environment. That's not our job.
That's the court is doing.
Exactly.
Okay.
We only step in after the officials have put the child in state custody of some sort.
Do the advocates then appear in court with the child, or do they just report to the court their findings?
They do appear in court.
Okay. So that's part of
Right.
part of the role that they play in
Right.
that. Is there any special education level or any other requirements that are needed for an advocate to become an advocate? So
No, not really.
We have advocates from all walks of life.
Yes.
So just about anybody, any adult could be an
Exactly.
advocate. I'm sure there's probably a background check or two.
Yes,
that's done.
yes.
Even to be on the board. Yes.
Yeah. That's a good idea.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Good idea to do that.
Right.
Well, I know one of the events you have coming up, talking about fundraising, is the Light of Hope Gala. Gala? I don't know. Gala?
It's what we say.
Whatever.
But
I think it depends on where you're
Fun
from.
time.
I was just going to say,
It's a fun time. That's what it is.
How do you say it if you're from East Texas?
you're right.
Gala, probably.
That's true. So it's a dinner, drinks, auction, and prizes. So let's talk a little bit about this event.
Okay, we're going to have this on February 5th in Carlsbad. Okay, now let me get the place right. The Pecos Valley River, no,
Pecos Valley. I'm sorry, Pecos
Pecos
River
River
Conference Center.
Center. Okay.
I actually have it written in front of me here if I can help.
It's, a lot of people, especially in Carlsbad, call it the Carousel House.
There we go.
Yeah, because I'm guessing at one time, like years ago, there was an actual
Exactly.
carousel in that, but it's a big round building.
Right. It's very nice. It's located on the river. We've been down. I haven't been down lately, but I'm hoping some of those Christmas lights are still up. They said they would be, and I think it's just going to be a really nice evening.
Nice night.
Yeah. The Pecos River Village Conference Center.
There you
Village is
go.
what I
Village.
forgot.
The only reason
That's
it's written
right.
down here, so not that I'm any
Thank you.
smarter
It's
than
a
anybody.
mouthful.
Do that. So it's Saturday, February 5th. Okay.
Right.
6
And
o'clock.
Okay.
This is Eddy County, and that's why we're in Carlsbad, is because
It's Artesia and Carlsbad. It'll start at 6. We're going to have a silent auction.
Okay.
And so you can bid on some stuff, and then we'll have a live auction with Shane Hall, who used to live here in Artesia but has moved on in his career. And
Has
but
he
he's
been
still
has he been doing at the Eddy County Fair? Has he been the auctioneer at the Eddy
not
County?
this year he wasn't,
Okay.
but
he has been.
But he's always a lot of fun. And we'll have a dinner by Bad Bass Caterers.
I'm gonna let you say that.
Yes. Notice I enunciated.
And very
you did
slow.
very clearly.
So-
Yes.
For our live auction, we have great prizes. We have some guns and elk hunts, luxury purses, Texas Tech games.
Yeah, a lot of services this year. We have one of the most unique things, I think, is there's a chef in Carlsbad that'll come and do a dinner for 6.
Oh,
And
wow.
So I think that would be fun.
Yeah.
And your custom
Oh,
hat.
yes. Barney Coppridge here in Artesia. This old hat is his
Okay.
business.
I've heard about
and
that,
he
yeah.
makes custom belt hats, and we're very excited that he's going to donate one of those
Okay.
hats so someone can make a hat.
I need to go to the news real
Okay.
quick,
Sure.
but if you could stick around just a couple minutes, we'll share all the details on how one gets tickets and all that good stuff. So hang in there, folks. This is KS